Hi everyone, I apologise in advance if I make any mistakes in this video, or as I like to call them, speaking typos. I am incredibly tired after staying up all night to follow the referendum results. So the final result for this referendum was 51.8% backed Brexit and 48.2% voted Remain. However, what's interesting in this referendum is when you break it down by demographics, because it was literally decided by the fact that we have an ageing population in this country. So 75% of 18 to 24-year-olds voted to Remain, and 55% of 25 to 49-year-olds voted to Remain. 55% of 50 to 64 voted for Leave, and 60% of 65 plus voted to Leave. So as you can see, there was more passionately for their case in the younger generation, as 75% voted to Remain for the younger generation, whereas the older generation, 60% voted to exit. So it was the fact that there were more of them that decided this entire vote. There are just more old people than there are young people, and that's just the way it is in this country. But what seems kind of unfair is the fact that the older generation have already lived their lives. They've had their houses, they've had their children, they've had their jobs. They won't have to live with the decisions of the EU because it doesn't really make too much difference to them how the economy fares, what the job prospects are, because they're not going to be looking to start new things really on the whole. It will be the younger generation who overwhelmingly wanted to stay in the EU who will have their entire futures decided by this decision, and as the current economy is not looking good, it could be a very negative effect. Okay, so this next point is probably going to sound quite controversial. However, before you get all angry at me, I would ask that you hear me out and allow me to make my points for this. This referendum was an opinion poll. It is not legally binding, and the government can, and I feel should, choose to ignore it, and this is why. For starters, this referendum never should have been called in the first place. Staying or leaving the EU is a huge decision that requires lots of economical, political, social knowledge that the majority of the public simply do not have. We elected the officials that are in the government. It is their job to make decisions about this country. We elected them because they are the ones who have the knowledge, who we decided should be calling the shots for this country. They wanted to stay in the EU. We should have listened to them. We should have listened to the economic experts who are saying, if we leave the EU, our economy will crumble. And we see just in one single night, our pound has dropped in value to worse than it has since 1985. We are now weaker than the euro. Another reason we should never have had this referendum is how much it has divided the public. It has showcased all the xenophobia that is out there. It has caused families to argue within them if some are voting Leave, some are voting Remain. It has caused friends to have that hostility between them because they don't trust their friends anymore. They have issues with them because they're voting differently. Our votes shouldn't divide us like this. It's not right, and the government have allowed it to happen by calling this referendum in the first place because they're not out there doing their jobs. Secondly, the Brexit campaign was built on lies that they are already admitting to.
The £350 million a week we send to the EU, which we will no longer send to the EU, can you guarantee that's going to go to the NHS?
No, I can't, and I would never have made that claim.
This is not on. The public was sold this campaign on a bed of lies, only to wait till after their campaign, pull back the covers and realise all along the mattress was damp, mouldy and unfit for sleeping on. That is a terrible analogy, but I'm going with it. I think what this campaign shows more than anything is that the government need to listen to the people. Basically, a lot of pro-Remainers were staunchly pro-Remain. They actively wanted to stay in the EU and they had reasons why they felt this was beneficial for their country. A lot of Brexiters, on the other hand, described themselves as reluctant Brexiters. They didn't want to do this, they just wanted their voice to be heard. They wanted to feel like they were making a difference, like they had some power over their life. And what this shows more than anything is that the government needs to start listening to its people. MPs need to talk to their local constituencies, find out their issues and work to tackle them, rather than make them feel so helpless that they need to do something so drastic as crumbling our entire economy just to make a point. I know some Brexiters strongly feel this is best for their country, and you know what? Fair enough to them. I have no issue with them. If they have reasons for wanting to leave that they feel are fair, that is perfectly fine. I have absolutely no issue with that. Everyone has different opinions and that is okay. My issue is that a lot of Brexiters did so based on lies. They were sold half-truths, they were sold lies, they were misinformed. Some of them didn't take the time to research, they had issues in their life and they wanted to just find someone else to blame it on them and blame it on, and the EU was the perfect excuse. And obviously I'm not saying that Brexiters are wrong. However, if you vote for the wrong reasons, whichever side it is, then that is wrong. Some people will vote in because they don't like David Cameron. And again, if people on the Remain side were voting just, oh, my friend's doing that, I'll do it too, that is also wrong. You should not... Yes, we all have a vote, and yes, it is great to use it, but you should not vote if you are not informed. I think that is just so wrong that decisions can be made by an uninformed public. People should find out, so they should research the facts, they should find out the case for either side before they take a vote. Because it's something that determines our entire future, and it shouldn't be a decision that's taken lightly. There should always be a reason for your vote. Another reason why I think the government should choose to ignore this referendum is the fact that a lot of people who voted Leave are now saying, wait, I didn't realise this would happen. They were shocked by the fact that our pound has dropped in value. They were shocked when they realised that the Brexit campaign was lying to them the entire time. And I firmly believe that since there was such a small margin in the first place, that if we were told another referendum even today, that Remain would win it because some of the Brexiters would defect, and we only need like less than 1% of them to defect to the Remain side for it to swing the entire vote. And I'm sure less than 1% of them will be annoyed by the fact they were lied to the entire time and that now their money is suffering because of it. And I'm sorry if I come off as angry in this video, but the truth is, I am angry. I don't get angry very often, but I just feel like this happened the day after I graduated. And now I find out that I'm going into an uncertain market. My job prospects are harder because there's going to be fewer jobs, especially in the sector that I'm looking to get into, simply because why on earth would new businesses want to start in such an unstable economy as the UK right now when they can start in Europe or internationally? A lot of business may be relocating just because it's easier, our pound is dropping in value, sales are going to be harder to get into. It's not fair. It's not fair that I've worked so hard at university only to come out and realise, hold on a second, what's the point in having a degree when I can't get a job, and even if I do, my money won't be worth that much anyway? It's not right, it's not fair, and it's not fair on all the students who have put all this effort in, and now everything is so uncertain for them. We barely have time to celebrate our results before everything just goes crazy. And I'm not angry at the people who voted Leave. I am angry at the politicians who manipulated them for their own power-hungry reasons. It's not right, it's not fair that the politicians are deciding our lives with their petty wars, their petty arguments, and just manipulating the public to their own will. Some people say they voted Leave to disrupt the establishment. The only people being disrupted by this are the general public. The rich politicians don't care. It's not going to affect them. Oh well, their money's worth slightly less. They'll have to have one less room in their mansions. Big deal. They don't care. They don't care about us. They don't care about our country. They care about their pockets and their power. And it is not fair that the public are the ones who suffer for their mistakes. And I worry what this result means for the future of the UK, simply in terms of still being the UK. Scotland voted overwhelmingly to stay in the EU. They had their referendum before on independence and we told them, no, it's better together, we're better together, we have your best interests at heart. But we clearly don't, because England and Scotland are so opposed on this matter, and now Scotland will have to suffer the fallout of us leaving the EU when they didn't want to. So you can bet they're going to want another referendum to call independence from us, and while last time I didn't agree with it, this time I fully support them, because why on earth should they have to suffer because England voted a different way to them? If they want to be in the EU, they deserve to be. Another massive worry is for the future of this country and the fact that 75% of the young people wanted to stay in the EU. And now their job prospects are being hurt by leaving it. Why would they stay in the UK? Why would they stay here when there are so many options in this world now? Like, our world is so connected with things like social media and the internet and everything. It's not that hard for them to relocate somewhere else and have a better quality life than they can be looking forward to in the UK now, simply because our future is so uncertain. And it will be absolutely catastrophic for the UK if the intelligent, bright youth decide, actually, I've got more opportunities abroad, I'm going to leave and be over there. We will be down a generation of intelligent young thinkers, and this will affect our economy even worse than leaving the EU will. It's just going to be a vicious cycle, and the economy is going to keep getting weaker and weaker, and they've been so worried about immigration. Now they need to worry about emigration of the young people leaving to different countries so they can have a better quality of life. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say on the matter. Got it out of my system now, said what I wanted to say. I would love to hear your opinions on this, but please be civil in the comments. Obviously, everyone's going to have different opinions. If you voted Leave, that's fine. Like I said, I've got no issue with you doing it for the right reasons. If you voted Remain, please be respectful of people who didn't. Just Debate is cool. Debate is good. Debate is how we can improve as a country. Conflict is not good. So make sure you're always civil in your arguments, and if I see people being nasty to each other, I will delete those comments. Simply not because of censorship, but because I don't want a place of hate in the comments. So yeah. Anyway, please subscribe to this channel, and yeah, see you later.